So now we're going to work the triceps, the back of the arms. So when we work the biceps, you should really follow it by working the triceps as well. The shoulder press exercise does hit that part of the back a little bit, but it's always good for a properly balanced session to exercise the opposite muscles, okay? So with this, I'm going to give you two options here. The action is straightening your arm here. So it does actually hit your biceps a little bit here, you'll see in a minute, because you're bringing your arm up. But what we're doing this time is we're just extending our hand out to feel a contraction and a tightening in that muscle here. So on here, your weight, when you put your weight in your hand, you want to feel your arm close in to your body, not too tight because you're going to get in the way of your leg. You want to make sure your wrist is nice and flat. It will change as you bring it up really, but your wrist stays flat, and you don't want to be moving around as you go through the movement. The only joint that should be moving here is your elbow, not your wrist. So you're grasping the dumbbell quite firmly, I should say, and you're bringing up, and then you're going to contract there and squeeze that muscle. Squeeze that muscle at the back. So you really need to do a little pause here just to allow yourself to feel that contraction. You do end up with your arm quite straight, but you shouldn't feel your elbow locking out. There's a nice little crack for you, apologies, sound effects. And that's working your triceps, okay? You want to make sure you set your back and don't roll forward. Now, shoulders down. Just check yourself as you're doing it, just to check your posture. And that's a little exercise for your triceps. Now, another option for this, if you feel stronger, and I recommend you just do these one at a time, is to put your arm over your head. Do it that way so you can see my face when I'm talking. Put your arm over your head and lift the weight up. Okay? So I'll show you that. So your arm is going up here, and it's going straight out behind you. Your weight, your palm is facing the side of your head. You want to make sure your wrist is flat at the back as before, and you're just lifting up in a straight line. Okay? And you make sure all of this part of your body is nice and still. Your torso straight. You really just want your elbow to do the work. My shoulder's moving a little bit. This weight's just a little bit heavy when I keep doing this because it's quite a strong exercise. So my arms start to wiggle around a bit. But you really only do as many as you can before you start to feel like you're losing a bit of control over the movement. I'm going to do a few on this side for you so you can see it from this side. Okay? So sit that way so you get back nice and straight. See where my hand's coming back down just towards the middle of the back of my head, and I'm just pressing up straight. Again, you want to make sure you're not too arched over because that's quite common, especially if the weight's too heavy. And you're just going up to a straight line. Okay, and bring it down gently and with control. Don't do so many that you really have to flop down with it, with the weight being over your head. When you're doing anything where the weight is over your head as well, it's important to breathe all the time through any exercises, but particularly if you're doing anything over your head, you have to make sure that you're breathing because it can start to elevate your blood pressure. If you do have high blood pressure, then I recommend you don't do any overhead weighted exercises until you've had clearance from your doctor just to check. And certainly, if you are doing any, make sure that you're not overdoing the weight and you're using weights that you can very comfortably use. Okay, See you in the next video.